start by thanking our donors, Charlie, Claudia, Daniela, Elena, Elijah, Jay, Cuba, Lydian, and Linda. So to start off, we'd like to have we'll be allowing our presenters to have our app demos. We'll have a break, and then we'll have a presentation by Jia Chen, and we'll have a closing talk, and we'll just end the day then. So to start off, we'll have Nadya with Circuit Craze. Nadya, please.
Hi everyone, my name is Nadya Tyandra. I'm from Indonesia and I'm 21 years old. I'm a graduate from Apple Developer Academy in Indonesia, and I'm also a recent computer science graduate from Yunus University. And this year I was awarded as one of the distinguished winner of the WWDC24 Swift Student Challenge. So my submission for the Swift Student Challenge is called Circuit Craze. It was an app for learning about the concept of series and parallel circuit with electricity. So when the first time player opened the app, there are a narrative which the main character was going home from office and he would like to watch television. But there are an electrical short circuit, and then the player needs to help the main character to solve the problem. And then in the main menu, there are an explanation about series circuit, and then also the formula to calculate total resistance in series. So we just need to sum it all, and then we got the total. And then there are also an explanation about parallel circuit, and also the formula to calculate total resistance in parallel. But it was a little bit more complex as we need to calculate it in the form of a fraction. So we need to put 1 in the numerator and then put the resistance in the denominator. Then sum it all, invert it, and got the total. And there are also a practice to check players' understanding. And last but not least, there are an examination. So the player can tap the light switch to turn on or turn off the light bulb. And if the player can pass the examination, it means that they could help the main character. Then, why I made this app? So actually, in primary school, I still remember when the first time I learned about electricity, it was about the concept of series and parallel circuit. And I found it quite challenging. And I think I'm not the only one. There are a lot of students out there that also feels the same. But I believe with the right learning strategy, an engaging and enjoyable learning method, every student could understand all subjects that they learn, even the most complex one. Then talking about the technologies, I only use SwiftUI and AV Foundation. SwiftUI for building the UI, and then AV Foundation to control the audio. I know it may seem very simple if I compare it with another submission in the Swift Student Challenge, but I just realized something. Execution matters. A good idea needs to be complemented by a good execution. There are a lot of apps out there that based on the same idea, but it doesn't mean that every single one of them will sustain in the market. So as the developers, it was important for us to set our perspective from the user's eyes, pay attention to detail, and choose wisely. That's all about my presentation, and let's get connected. Thank you.
All right, hello everyone. I'm Carson Gross, and my app was called Learn ASL Alphabet, and it's an app designed to help teach you the American Sign Language alphabet. So before getting into it, just a little bit about me. I'm from Colorado, and I started Swift development a little over 2 years ago. Built a lot of projects since then, and I recently graduated from the University of Colorado Boulder for business, though not computer science. Still very fun. So in terms of, before I get into the demo of the app, in terms of the technologies that I used, it was all built in Playgrounds, as all the challenge submissions were. And I used a CreateML model for this, and so used a hand pose recognition model for each of the letters of the alphabet. And so for each letter, I used 29 images, so that was about 750 images of just images of people's hands cropped in each letter of the alphabet from tons of YouTube videos and online resources. And so that was how the model was trained. I went through like 20 iterations of it, but it turned out pretty accurate in the end. And for having 800 images, it's actually fairly accurate. You'll see some other things I use, like videos and images. I use AB Foundation. Basically, everything's built in SwiftUI except for some video stuff, and then, of course, uses Core ML as well. And so for the inspiration behind the app, and at the time, probably in November, I was getting really into accessibility. And so I was looking through the Swiss Student Challenge. I had a lot of online resources and things on the developer website. And I came across one that was you can see that it's the logo on it on the right. It was a rock, paper, scissors app, and it showed, it demoed like a hand pose model, and that's how I found out about it. And I just thought it'd be a really good way to try to teach sign language. So I ended up doing a lot of research on sign language. I kind of realized I'm not an expert in it by any means, but I realized I'd be able to at least do the alphabet, not necessarily the full language, because there's lots of grammar and there's actual gestures instead of just poses like there is in the alphabet. And so I did what I could with the alphabet, and I will show you what that looks like right now, actually. And so it is only on macOS in its current state. And so here it is. Yeah. And so the general layout of the app is it gives you a tutorial sign, and that's just a picture of my hand, because for this Swift Student Challenge, you cannot connect to the internet. And then you can go through each letter in the alphabet just by swiping through. And of course, some letters J and Z are they're like actual gestures. And so the model itself only is trained on the end position of the gesture for these ones. But you can just see there's still a tutorial video for these letters, and just to show everything how it works. And then of course, to actually check it's complete, I'm just going to put this down for a second. And I'm going to restart the app really quick. And here, so I can recognize, it's so hard to see there, but you can see A is there, and then you just check the sign, and it'll tell you if it's correct or not. And it'll also, if I do B here for this one, it'll tell you it's incorrect. And then, yeah, so it just takes you through the app like there. Oh, and then there's a quiz mode as well. And so it'll take the letter away, and you can move through the alphabet that way. And that's how that works. And so all of the code for this can be found at that link. Well, at that link, there's a link to the App Store page with all my apps, and my GitHub that has the code for everything here. And so that's my project, Learn ASL. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Adolfo Talactac, and I'm going to present my Swift Student Challenge 2024 submission, Power Grade. So before that, I just want to introduce myself. My nickname is Adolfo. I'm a computer engineering student at the University of the Philippines. I am currently under the microprocessors and microelectronics and microprocessors laboratory in our university. And even though that I am here for a software conference, my main focus is in analog circuits. My line of expertise is in instrumentation amplifiers. And I started learning Swift 5 years ago in 2019 when I got my first Mac. And most importantly, one thing about me is I'm a 4-time Swift Student Challenge winner. And I just want to go through to each one of my submissions really quickly. First one is with Learn with AR. This was my very first coding project. It is when I made this one, I didn't know what classes were, what protocols were. I just went straight to an ARKit project. And in this project, I made a very simple ARKit experience where you can see when you can learn how basic electromagnetism concepts. And then for my second year, I participated again, 2021. I made a circuit simulator that is built with SwiftUI, and it uses the Accelerate framework to solve circuits. And one thing that I can brag about this submission is that it actually solved circuits. It uses A modeling, uses the sparse solver functions of the Accelerate framework to solve the different circuits that you can make with this program. It also has a reality kit component. And then for last year, I made a digital circuit simulator. And yeah, you can make your own circuits, export them, import them, and yeah, simulate them. Yeah, made with SwiftUI and also SpriteKit. And now for this year, I made a power grid simulator. So by now you can see that there's an ongoing theme with all of my submissions. They're all about electrical engineering. And for this one, I made a power grid simulator wherein you can learn how to balance the different loads of different customer types. And that's what I'm going to show for this demo. So here you are greeted with a very beautiful interface. You can see here that you have your different power plans. Then you also have your different customers, and your job is to balance the power consumption of the power load, the load production of your power plants with the power consumption of your customers. For example, you have your natural gas power plants, and as time goes on, it's going to use more fuel, so you have to fill them up. And also, as time goes on, the maintenance level goes down because of wear and tear, and you have to shut down some power plants to replenish the maintenance level. So as each hour passes by, you have to consider how much money each power plant costs, and also how much money you can make from each customer. And it also has weather animations. So yeah. And then you can also buy, with the money that you earn, you can also buy more. You can also buy more power plants and also buy more customers. For each time that you lose this, for each time that you're not able to meet the demand of your customers, you lose a heart. And when you lose all 5 hearts, that's when you lose the game. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So you start over again.
Okay, hi. So my name is Lena and I'm from Thailand. Well, I graduated high school a couple of months ago and I'm going to attend the university in the Faculty of Computer Engineering. Well, this is my second time of winning the Swift Student Challenge. Okay, so picture this. Last year I have heard about the Swift Student Challenge, and it was incredibly interesting for me because no one in my school never won the challenge before. So if I win the challenge, I'm gonna be the first one in my school. And I was like, challenge accepted. But there was a teeny tiny problem because I only have this iPad. I have no MacBook, I have no iMac at all. But anyway, I still joined the challenge. And yeah, I found that Swift is really easy to understand, and with few days of learning, I managed to create an application and send and submit it, and yeah, I won the first time. So I'm gonna tell the story of how I came up. Okay, first I have to tell you this is the first application of mine. It is the teeth brushing educational application for kids. And for this year, the application that I developed was inspired by myself because I was struggling studying in history and social studies, well, because it relies heavily in memorization, so it's hard. Unlike science classes where we get to do lab experiments, which helps us understand all the concepts clearly. So it has become evident when all of my class, the whole entire class, failed the exam in history and social study. So I guess something is just missing in our history lesson, which is interactive learning. So I try to put this method into the application to help kids learn better. So this application is called Homo Sapiens. So I'm going to show you the live demonstration. Okay, so right here we're going to start off with the animation of Big Bang. This represents how the Earth will form to be the first stage. So my application have 5 different stages, from monkey to human. a narrative game. So let's start with the first one. This one we're gonna learn a lot about about the skill of human in that evolutionary stage and some plans. These are the plans from the first stage.
Cycus revoluta.
We also have the function of text-to-speech because after I test the application with the first group, they said the name of the stages is too hard to pronounce. Let's continue. The first one is going to be 15 games. And you can surrender anytime you want. Yeah. Let's go to the next stage. This one, you're gonna create the flake tools. First, you're gonna choose the rock. This is too small, this is too thin, so this is the right one. We're gonna strike it like this, and yeah, we're done. This is the second one. How we'll have this. We're gonna go for the third one. This one, we're gonna learn about the plant. Well, in each stage, it's gonna show the details or the definition of each things you've met. So we're gonna learn how to create fire. Let's chop the branch out. Right here, we're gonna strike the rock to create fire, like so. This is the fourth one. People like to associate to each other to go hunting. So let's say, let's go hunt together.
Let's see who wants to join us.
After the long day, we're gonna take some diary. Let's draw something here. And welcome to the last stage. We're gonna take a selfie as a memento. And here's the end of my application.
Yeah, hello, I'm Fredrik. Just a quick intro to me. I'm 23 years old and I am a CS student from Kiel, Germany, which you probably know where it is, but it's right about there. And yeah, for my Swift Student Challenge project this year, I kind of thought about, okay, I like music, I like dancing, and I like programming. So how do I bring these kinds of things together? And instead of talking a lot, I'm just gonna start out with the demo. Yeah. So basically my app is a small introduction to Latin music. So like in specifically salsa music, you start off with a count of 8 beats. That's 2 measures. And generally you have stuff happening in between the beats too. So we have like 16 slots where things could happen. And yeah, like the basic instrument in salsa music is the clave, which is like 2 wooden sticks that you chop together. And yeah, we have a quick demo here, like of a basic pattern, but we can change it up. Like we can make it do different things. So like, I'm not gonna go into detail, but we have a bunch of different instruments. And like besides the clave, we have, for example, a cowbell, which plays on every beat. So we get kind of a swingy rhythm already, but it gets even better. We have, for example, congas, which play on the last 2 half strokes. And yeah, we can switch it up. We have like different rhythms here, but we can create our own. So yeah, we have bongos. Basically what we can also do is we can change the velocity of each of the strokes. So if we want to like have them hit a little bit more, we can just drag them up. And yeah, we have some shakers over there. And yeah, this is everything live, so we can like change it up. We can take different patterns or create our own. And yeah, at the end, like besides all the percussion instruments, we have a final piano that's playing over that. Usually it's a pretty simple melody. Like for example this one. And if we're done, we complete the tutorial, and we basically get this nice interface which looks kind of like GarageBand. And yeah, we have some options here. We can like change the key if we like. And yeah, we can like tweak the volumes, we can solo individual tracks, we can customize the volume or like use different patterns and everything. And yeah, if we're like happy with the kind of rhythm we've got going, we can even export it to a MIDI file and import it to GarageBand or Logic or anything. So yeah, that was kind of my student challenge project. It's built using SwiftUI and AV Foundation, which is pretty much the same backend that GarageBand or Logic used to. So actually, like most of the work went into building the UI layer, and like all of the heavy lifting is basically done by the frameworks, which is pretty cool. And yeah, in case you want to try that, there is a GitHub link for the source code, which is open source, so you can check it out. And you can also grab a demo and test flight if you'd like to like play around with it. And yeah, we have some socials too, in case you're interested in other projects I'm doing. Thank you.
You made clear why I had to like run from that. Basically, my MacBook have like 10%, so it need to be quick. So, hello everyone, my name is Apiphoom Chuenchompoo from Thailand. So, I'm like a SEC winner 2021, 2022, and 2024. Sorry, distinguished winner. And also, I'm a Swift Coding Cup Thailand leader and director. So, I want to talk about more about my club and about more community around the world first for my app. So, in Thailand, we have like an activity like we had here. And we have like a hackathon, hackathon we do together. Even Nina like also be the part of Swift Coding Cup Thailand too. So yeah, and we have a lot of student apps that they present and they make a lot of 20 iOS applications, and it's beautiful. It's not only just like they learn about it, but they can build it. And yeah, I'm very proud it because like 100% attend rate and from 20 teams from top ranking high school. So that's enough for my background and what I'm doing. So let's talk about my app. So basically, my app is inspired by grandfather. So my grandfather has stroke. He passed away like a couple of months ago. So this UI app like built for honor him. So I try to support the fitness and rehabilitation using Vision Kit. So I focus on fitness, rehabilitation, and precision. And technology that I use is like SwiftUI. I used to build our user interface and Vision Kit to capture and analyze exercise movement, and use core data to store user activity securely. So yeah, basically you can shoot the exercise like here, like maybe push-up, squat, lung, or jumping jack, and you can like do like exercise in front of your camera, and then it's gonna count for you. Basically, I design my exercise to be for rehabilitation state and for people in like good health state. Yeah. And for my application, if you guys want to try, it's available on App Store, both on iOS and iPadOS. Yeah. So that's it. I want to tell something that I'm very appreciate participating in this event. You guys are my friend and not any like, I don't think you guys are community, but you guys are my family. Yeah, I thank you guys a lot because you helped me in forum. Some of you like might know me. I might participate in some event and like, but I'm a bit nervous about my talking. So yeah, thank you all Swift Global Community and have a nice day.
Yeah, and I agree. I love the Swift community as well.
All right, hi there. My name is Henri Bredt. I'm a user experience design student from Germany. I self-taught myself how to code things for iOS because I wanted to be able to apply those things I learned at university and build actual products. And that's what I'm doing with an app called Thoughts that I'm developing alongside university. And I'm in fact, as well, the same as Adolfo, a 4-time Swift Student Challenge winner. So this is going to be the last time. This is going to be the last time I'll have the chance to present here. Don was completely right. I was here last year too, It was a great event, and it was my first WWDC in person last year too. It was so great to get together with the community, and some of you might even find themselves in the pictures over there. But alongside university and developing apps, I'm passionate about music. Not necessarily great at making it, but very passionate. So last year, what I did for the Swift Student Challenge was an educational e-piano where you can learn how to play notes. And this year, I wanted to make creating music even more accessible. So the project for this year is a sampler. The idea of this is that you can record any sound onto those light gray pads. I'll show that in a second. You can apply a couple of sound effects and then play them back together at the same time and easily create music, even without having the ability to read notes. The design, some of you have probably already discovered it, was heavily inspired by teenage engineering. And from a technical perspective, I have developed the entire UI in Swift UI. And the audio thing relies on AV foundation, so that multiple tracks can be played at the same time and that the non-destructive sound effects can be applied. So yeah, that's how the project looks. We can take a detailed look at the display. It has like an analog-inspired look where different segments lie on when they are active. And for the bottom part, they are the buttons. Light gray ones are the ones where you can store your samples to. And instead of showing you the screenshot, let's do a little demo. So in the next video, I'll record one of my most favorite sound samples. So let's take a look. Now it's saved on there, and what I'm doing now is trim off the blank recording from the start. There's a trim effect, and by pressing plus, you can see in the effects display, it trims from the start. So that the audio starts right when you press a button. And with having recordings like that on those pads, you can create some music just like that. So that was a short demo of the project I've built. There's in fact a more detailed demo on YouTube, so if you want to see more of this project, you can go ahead on YouTube. You can also just search my name, Henri Bredt, and you'll probably find that video over there. That's my presentation. If you're interested in taking a look at the source code, there's a public GitHub repository where that's publicly available. And I also want to show you quickly my app I'm currently working on. It's called Thoughts, an inspiration manager, where you can save all the things that inspire you. Yeah, if you want to get the things I'm currently working on, this is my primary focus right now. So yeah, that's my presentation. Thank you very much.
So hello everybody, I'm Freddie, and this is my Swift Student Challenge entry for this year, and it was a winning submission, which was great. So just a little bit about me. I studied design engineering at Imperial in the UK. Some of my hobbies include running, you can see on the right, and doing hackathons and challenges like the Swift Student Challenge. And I also do some work with the university as well, not with Swift, but kind of getting young people into STEM and mathematics and that kind of thing. And yeah, my app playground was about robotics. So within design engineering, we do quite a lot of robotics and all that kind of thing. We've also looked at kind of new technologies, and we've worked with some companies too. And also the app was basically taking all the complex robotics concepts and trying to simplify them down to make them really understandable. And it used a load of Apple frameworks, which you can see at the bottom. It used ARKit, RealityKit, SceneKit, and the newly released Reality Composer Pro. And the way I started about kind of starting this project was I first CAD'd up my own robot arm. If you're not familiar with the term CAD, it stands for Computer Aided Design, and we do a lot of that in design engineering. So I just did that in Autodesk Fusion 360, which is some free software which runs on Mac OS, and it's free for students and hobbyists. And I took that and I imported it into Reality Composer Pro, and then you can actually separate out the elements from Fusion into Reality Composer Pro, which allows you to control all of them individually to make it move like a robot. And you can see a bit of my working out of how this app playground came together. Never seen before behind the scenes. So you can see there's a bit of a storyboard, it's a bit of a technical drawing, me just checking something. And then this is the maths down in the bottom right. And by the way, this is normally like a third year or master's level kind of maths, so it might not make sense, but it's quite complicated. There's lots of videos online if you're interested in it. And the great thing about this project is it actually is relevant next year. So I studied 2 modules in robotics, and inverse kinematics comes under the first one, and then the second one's a bit different, but this is still really useful. So without further ado, I'm going to give a quick demo of what it looks like. So if I come over here, and I'm only going to show you a small segment of it, because there's a bit more to it, but we've only got a little bit of time. So if I allow AR permission, hopefully, we've got a robot. You can see I can actually use gestures to make it bigger. I can use 2 hands. And there you can see we've got a life-size robot, and you've got the similar kind of controls to what would actually be used on an industrial robot arm. I've actually worked with this kind of robot arm in real life, and this is very similar to the kind of control panel that you would have with that robot. So you've got the X, Y coordinates, so this moves you around in that plane. It's actually moving along a line. It's actually quite hard to tell when it's in 3D and AR. But you've also got the rotation controls as well, which is again based off what is used in industry. So you can move your robot arm around and move it around a point and things. And the aim of this mini game was to pop the balloon, essentially, which is quite hard. I can't really tell where it is. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, and actually what was really exciting today was that Apple announced in the keynote that inverse kinematics is coming to Reality Composer Pro, which is really exciting. So maybe I kind of anticipated that might come up, but it's a really useful tool. It allows you to kind of animate arms and things and characters, and yeah, it's really useful. So that's really exciting. I'm really excited to be here and at the conference. It's once in a lifetime opportunity. So yeah, if you want to follow me, there's me on Twitter. Yeah, thanks so much.
Hello everybody. Thank you all for the lovely presentation so far. I found it so interesting. So, hi, my name is Tongyu. I am 18 years old and I'm from Singapore. I will now talk a little bit about myself. That's me, and I'm actually a 2-time Swift Student Challenge winner, so I won last year and this year. The next fun fact is that I like sharks. This is not relevant to my game. I also play the guitar, and you should remember this because this is relevant to my game. I like making crafts, and this is also a testament to the fact that I love sharks. And finally, I like eating donuts. Yes, so I play the guitar, and I really love playing music together with other people. I'm not sure how many of you play instruments, but when you play in a band, when you play together with others, there's this really, really special feeling when everyone's playing together, and it just feels like you're part of something larger than yourself. So the app project that I made is actually a game to capture this feeling. In addition to that, I also really like playing rhythm games. So these 3 are some of the rhythm games that I really enjoy. And I wondered how I can use technology to make a game more immersive and interesting. So I considered using Core Motion and Scene Kit to give the game some immersive motion. So that's what resulted in Tambourine Story. Let's just go straight into a demo. It actually only runs on an iPad, and I don't have one with me, so I'll just show a video. This is the main story of the game. So on the left, there is a little girl who wants to join her brother's band, but her brother doesn't want her to join their band. So it's like a conversation at the start about this. And eventually the girl realizes that, okay, there's this tambourine lying around, so I might as well give it a try. And this is how the game works in the end. So you have to hold the iPad and you have to shake it in order to play the tambourine. ultimately she does join the band. And now let's dive into the process of how I made this game. So in the first frame, you can see that was how I animated the little girl. Actually, I feel like that might be my favorite part of creating everything because it was so fun to animate. Next, you can see that I went through a few iterations for how the background would look like, and ultimately, I'm really happy with I'm really happy with what I settled on. Finally, on the left, there's also the 3D model of the tambourine I made in order for it to be immersive, and also the music that I composed using GarageBand. So that's about it for my presentation. If you would like to learn more about me, connect or try the game, please go to these links. Thank you.
My name's Austin. Great to meet you. I'm working on an app called Stuff, which is a to-do list app, but I'll tell you a little bit about myself first. So this is me. This is my wife, Sophia. She's sitting right back here. If you guys need stickers, we would love to give them to you. We have tons of stickers, and they kind of give a link to the app that we're working on. A couple things about me. I really like, this might be a controversial take, I really like Peeps, the big, not always this big, but the marshmallows, so delicious. I also, despite my love for Apple, have accidentally broken 2 Apple products in the last week. One is Sophia's Apple Watch, and the other is my iPad, which was really unfortunate. But that means I can get the new M4, which I'm happy about. I am a solo developer. I do have one coworker though, and that is just my dog, who's with me all the time. She might be in the office even more than I am. Okay, so let me tell you about Stuff. That is the name of our to-do list app. Stuff is on iPhone and iPad, coming out later this year, currently available for pre-order. The idea of Stuff is to be as simple or as powerful as you want it to be. So a couple of the technical details. Number one, it's been in development for 2 years, just trying to really have it be a great experience for everybody who tries it. Lots of fun animations and little Easter eggs in there. It is 100% Swift UI. I started on the project just a little bit after Swift UI became a thing. But yeah, no UI kit at all, which I'm very proud of and happy with, because I don't want to do UI kit. And the backend is entirely on Firebase, which I would also recommend to anybody. Firebase is great to work with. So kind of the idea of Stuff, you have these big icons up there, your inbox and today. So this is where it can be as simple as you want, right? You can just throw things into your inbox, but then you can also schedule things for today, obviously. So that's kind of the basic structure, but then you see I have a bunch of lists and spaces underneath there as well. So you can really go as deep as you want with this. You can also schedule things using both plans and deadlines. So plans are kind of what we call when you want to do something. So you could say, I'm planning to do this on Thursday, but a deadline is when it has to be done. So if you have an essay that has to be done on Friday, but you're planning to do it on Wednesday, Stuff kind of lets you differentiate between those two things, which is pretty nice for my use case. Another big feature of Stuff is dependencies. And so dependencies are great because you can actually say, hey, I can't do this task until this other task is completed. So when you see in this case, you can't complete that dependency down there, call Fox, until test new antidote from Fox is complete. So once I complete that, then it lets me call him. So you can see how that works, and then those other tasks become available. So that's how dependencies work. It kind of lets you just brain dump into Stuff, and then you can, hide away the things that aren't currently relevant, rather than seeing a huge list of things that you are kind of waiting on other things first. So those are dependencies. Stuff has a bunch of other features coming as well, such as shared lists. Sophia and I use this for grocery lists. The syncing is really, really fast. You can tell that I'm not using iCloud, and it's great. Other things in Stuff include adventure log. The adventure log is kind of what we call just where we throw all of your completed tasks. So as you complete things, you can kind of go back and see a history of everything that's been completed. You can also see a bunch of stats there. Repeating tasks are another big one. So repeating tasks are great and very flexible. It's the most powerful repeating tasks function that I've seen in any app. It lets you do regularly repeating, so like every Friday, or you can do after completion. So you could say, complete it 3 days after I complete this task, or you can say repeat it only on specific dates, like this Friday and next Friday, and then be done. So really functional there, and a ton more features coming. So I'll put this QR code up. Like I said, stuff is available for pre-order currently, but if you, this actually goes to my Twitter, so if you go to my Twitter, then the website's on there, and I'd love to get you all on the beta, so there's a link on the website, or at the bottom of the website to be added onto the beta too. So please send me your feedback, we'd love to hear what you think, and I would love to connect later. Thanks so much.
Thank you for everybody for being here. It means a lot to me and Don for just your attendance and all the presentations before. Amazing. It's incredible to see young minds like you guys just create amazing apps using Swift. I didn't start developing with Swift until I think 2016. I was in college. I'm 30 now, so it's been a minute. But I started with UIKit, and But here's our application, NosiFlex. It's a digital solution for analog workflow. We developed this application for film photographers like ourselves. We're not sure who else here shoots or does photography, but I'll try to speak in terms where it's like you guys can hopefully understand. I'm not bashing y'all, just photography can get complicated. But this is me. I'm an iOS developer from Virginia. My full-time job, I work as a lead software engineer for a Navy defense contractor. I do full stack development using React for the front end, C#, ASP.NET for the back end. I'm a part-time iOS engineer for NosiFlex. Don's one of my business partners. We also have Josh, who's in Australia. Couldn't make it today, unfortunately. There you go. I'll let you introduce yourself.
So this is me. Actually, I'm the one on the right, if you didn't realize that. I'm a 21-year-old software engineer, and I'm working with my country's Department of Defense. I'm a two-time Apple Student Challenge winner as well, and I develop cross-platform apps for on React Native and also web applications. So I met MKBHD last year, and I also met, so I'm on the one on the left, just in case, not the right.
The iPod Touch.
Yeah, and the iPod, so I got him to sign the iPod. Okay, I'll hand it back to Diego.
Okay. And this is our one of our other business partner, Josh Chiodo. He's based out of Melbourne, Australia. I mean, he's a UI designer. He designed a lot of our application for us with the help of us to follow the human interface guidelines. He owns a gym in Melbourne. He enjoys doing photography as well. I mean, we're all photographers. That's why we got together. He also, casual YouTuber. He has some YouTube videos out. That's honestly phenomenal. I'm not just saying that. He's our business partner. But so, what is NosiFlex? Like I said earlier, it's an application for film photographers, and NosiFlex itself is actually an acronym. The NO stands for number, which is corresponding to the number, the shot number of that you took on your film. The SS is the shutter speed, which is how quickly the shutter closes in your camera. A is the aperture, FL is the focal length, and then the EX is exposure. So essentially how much light you're allowed into your camera. So these are some photos I took actually. You can see the acronym at the bottom. So using our system, you could quickly reference the metadata from that photo. So with that first shot I took, I shot that on a film camera called the Mia RZ67. It's the first shot of the roll, 3 seconds of the shutter speed. The aperture I shot at 3.5. The focal length was a 90mm focal length lens, and I overexposed it by 1 stop. Go to the next one. We'll go back. And these are some of Don's shots as well. I just wanted to show that off because his photography is amazing too. But you could also see the metadata as well associated with each photo. So the tech specs for our application are listed here. We're following the MVVM design architecture. The Swift is built 90%, the UI is built 90% with Swift UI, with 10% being UIKit. There was just some stuff we just couldn't get away with using Swift UI, unfortunately, which was the light meter itself, which we'll go ahead and demonstrate a little bit later in the demo. But some other tech spec, we're using Firebase as like our main database to allow users to log in and get access to their data. We're also using core data as well to store photos locally. We're using CloudKit to store photos on the cloud, which it does it once, and then we queue them using core data to store them. Or we use core data to store the file location using the file manager. We use user defaults to store some regular, or some user settings for the user. And then we're also using Lottie, which is an awesome library by Airbnb that allows you to use JSON animations and allows you to control it. Check it out if you haven't seen it. We're using TipK. This is actually a recent implementation for us. We want users to be able to use the application the first time without having to guess how to navigate through the user interface. And then the last thing, Swift SMTP, which is just allows us to send emails through the application using SMTP relay. So the next thing we want to talk about is the design evolution of our application. We went through a few phases. So if you just go through the next slide, I'll let Don take it over from here.
So the funny story is actually I started the app as a watch app, and I did it while in an unpaid internship, and I created like a storyboard, the nightmare. So I created a storyboard and the app. I posted it on Reddit, and 4 years ago I posted it on Reddit, and Diego actually responded. So yeah, so the funny story is actually I've never met Diego until yesterday.
Yeah.
So I worked with him for 4 years over virtual, and the app has grown for a lot.
12-hour time difference.
Right. So I code, he sleeps. He codes, I sleep.
So this was the original mock-up that we came up with the design. I cringed looking at it because we followed the Apple design guidelines, but there's no creativity to it. It just looks so stale. Like, it's fine, but it doesn't, there's nothing about it that's appealing. That was until, well, I guess before we jumped into that, our application did start getting some attention from the media. I guess, Don, would you want to elaborate on this part?
Not really.
Okay, well, no, that's fine. But essentially, we got some attention from the media, from a news outlet. They did an article on our first iteration of the app, which we called Luz, which is Spanish for light. And, it's associated with photography because light, photography, film, yeah. But anyways, our next evolution. So where we got here, this is where we met Josh. We actually had an Instagram page for our previous application. And this dude just messaged me. He was like, hey, can you guys implement the Nosiflex system? I was like, dude, what? So I did some Googling, and I found Josh, and he came up with the algorithm of Nosiflex. It's completely his system, so I messaged him. I was like, hey man, let's team up and see if we can work together. So we got on Discord, we did a video chat, and then we just decided to team up. So Josh became our designer, and that's when the UI started to improve. If you go back, wait, just play the, yeah. So this is the initial design of the application. It's fun, but it's very exhausting. We decided to go with the neuromorphism design, which, again, I like looking at it, but it exhausts the user, and it wasn't a very intuitive application for users to use. So going on to the next design, we completely redesigned the application using this sketch UI design. I like it a lot because it reminds me of Ableton, and I love the interface for Ableton. It looks so clean, it's simple, and there's just this childlike wonder to it, where everything looks kind of like a notebook. And that's kind of what we wanted to replicate with using our application. It has features such as some highlighting on text. It's very minimal, but there are some downsides to it. The downside being that we had to create all the components from scratch, and it was very difficult to maintain. And I'm not a big fan of the light meter in this until we started working on the next iteration.
So a funny story, Apple actually invited me to actually present this app to our local news network. So I had to do this in Chinese. And I also got to present the app at Apple Store Orchard in Singapore. So I'll hand it back to you.
Yep. So this leads us to our next iteration. After we released the app for, I think it was 2020 until 2022, we left that design untouched until Josh was like, hey man, let's redesign it again. I was a little hesitant because I was used to it, and I'm very resistant on change at times. Well, I'm so grateful that we did, because Josh came up with this design, and I think it looks amazing. It was heavily influenced by the To-Do app from Apple, the one that's native to your phone that comes installed. It just looks so much better. It's so much more better to maintain. And yeah, initially I think we're using 60-40 to Swift UI to UI kit, but with this redesign we managed to convert most of our code into Swift UI. And then yeah, the light meter just looks so much better. I love that. That's cleaner. It's just so much easier to use. And for those who don't know what a light meter is for photography, it's just when you shoot film photography, it's mostly analog. This Leica M6 has a built-in light meter, but a lot of cameras don't. So this is very useful because you can just tap on the photo or on the screen, take a photo, and then we have an algorithm what shutter speed you should use, what aperture based on the ISO and all that stuff. And you could also overexpose it, and yeah, it just does all of that calculations for us. Yes, Apple Entrepreneur Camp.
That's right, orange lanyard, right?
Yeah, right here.
No, sorry, you can get
Oh,
around.
this one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, our design was great, but we had blind spots, and we weren't aware of it until we attended Apple Entrepreneur Camp, which we're so grateful that we applied to it. I got an email one day from Apple saying, hey, you know, we have this Apple Entrepreneur Camp. I was a little hesitant at first because I thought it was spam, to be honest, because they're like, yeah, we're looking for underrepresented minorities. It's like, okay, I'll try and see what's good, but yeah. But yeah, sorry, I'm getting off topic. But anyways, the biggest benefit we got from this was some design feedback that we got from our application. There's a lot of blind spots, like I was saying. They gave us a lot of feedback, and we worked with the team at Apple, with the designers, engineers, and we're just super grateful for that. So here's a little screenshot from us presenting our application to Apple and the alumni that attended Entrepreneur Camp.
Yeah, so there's just a few screenshots from like the recent trip I took on the California Zephyr as well. And finally, this is just like a QR code for our app and just a couple of social links. So yeah, that's right, 4 years in the making. We've never met each other, we just met each other yesterday. So it's entirely virtual. Thank you.
Yep.
Hello everyone. So today I'm going to present you my winning app for Swift Student Challenge 2024, and it's called Palette Vision. So before we begin, I would like to tell you a bit about myself. So I started to program when I was 8 years old, and my dad, which is right here, taught me HTML. And since that, I've continued to program, and in 2020, I published my first app in the App Store, which is called Hit the Ball, and it's like a Pong game. But it's not in the App Store anymore. And then, that's me today. So I'm currently studying aerospace engineering, and I also, besides programming, I'm also running a 3D printing business. So now I'm going to give an overview of my winning app for the Swift Student Challenge. And so yeah, it's called Palette Vision. So it's an app which detects palettes of colors in real time from the device camera or from a photo. So my app was designed to be privacy focused and accessible to anyone. So so the app asks for the user's permission to get access to the device camera or from the photo library, and each view has an information button so anyone knows what this view is about. So now the tech specs. My app was built entirely with Swift UI, and I've used Vision for foreground object detections as well as the Accelerate framework. So it all works under a K-means ++ algorithm. So basically, that's how the app works. Each image or each frame of the device camera are processed to reduce the amount of pixels. The more pixels, the more data it needs to process, and it might lead to crash. So we need to process the image. Next, each RGB values are appended to a matrix, and I call it the RGB matrix. So yeah, the bigger the image, the bigger will be that matrix, and might lead to crash. So yeah, that's the reason why we need to downsample the image. So I'm using the JPEG data function from Apple, which has a compression quality parameter, and depending on the device, I'm using a mathematical function to program the quality. Yeah. So there is two types of k-means algorithm. So that's the algorithm I implemented in Swift to cluster the different colors and make the palette. So here you can see basically how the algorithm works. So each data point from the matrix we could represent it like that in a three-dimensional space. And I'm using Apple's accelerate framework to compute points between centroid. And the more points are closer to each other, the more the more it's likely to be a cluster. Yeah. And yeah, I'm using the K-means++, which is more efficient. It's harder to implement, but it leads to better results. And now it's time for a live demo. So for that, I hope it works. And it works. So yeah, each time we open the app, we have a different background. It's the design. And then yeah, we have two modes: real time or photo mode. So crash. Let's try the photo mode then. Okay, yeah, it's not working, but we'll go. I will do the live demo right after what's coming next because you will see why. So there's one more thing. So what's next for Palette Vision? I want to publish it to the App Store, but I want it to be a more complete app. So I will integrate three key elements. First, I want it to be a social app for creativity and inspiration. So users will be able to post their pictures and see in-depth color analysis. Last but not least, I want my app to be even more accessible for people that are colorblind or have different visual conditions. So yeah, they will be able to choose a filter, and this filter will help them to differentiate the colors. And yeah, Palette Vision's pre-orders are starting next month on July 19, and it will be available on July 26 on the App Store. Now I will go very quick on the live demo because I was not planning to do so, but I will open the development app. Yeah, so that's how it will work. It will look published to the App Store, so users will be able to post their images as well as the generated palettes. And I will. Yeah, it's not working. I don't know why, but if I try. Okay, it's not working. I will show you a demo I posted on YouTube. It's really quick. Yeah, here's the demo. So yeah, the quality is not great, but basically we enable access to our camera, and then I don't know if you see well, but below here we have the generated palettes in real time. And then we have the palette history, and next I think I will go on the photo library. Yeah, so we enable access to the photo library, and yeah, I click a photo, and it will show instantly palettes of colors, and that's it. So if you have questions or anything, I'm here tonight, and thanks.
Hello everyone, good night to you all, good evening. My name is Caio, I'm from Brazil, and I'm from a state called Alagoas. And these are some of my hobbies. I love traveling, I love my family. I really love sports, like Formula 1 and football, soccer here. I really like music as well. I live in this beautiful city called Maceió, and I study in this place, on the Federal University of my hometown. So, what's the history of my app? Well, when I started developing it, I had never used SwiftUI before. It was my first time. Like, I've never touched something in SwiftUI in my life. And when I heard about the challenge, I was like, man, I got this opportunity, but I've never done nothing with the technology before. And it was a holiday called Carnival in Brazil, that we stay like 10 days without doing nothing. And I was like, man, I'm going to try as hard as I can to get this programming language that I've never used before and try to do something nice. So I made it happen. Those are all the process. Like in 10 days, I went from the initial idea, that for me is the hardest part of it all, like having a great idea. And I went from having a great idea to like prototyping and coding it all and testing with my friends, and like, it was a big journey in 10 days. But what's my project about? So, my project's called Potoka. It's slang for chit chat in my region. And it's made for two people that had never seen each other before to establish a connection, something like an icebreaker or something like that. And we live in a world that human relationships are like more difficult each time that it passes for you to establish real connections with different people. And so that's what my project's about. So I have a different idea tonight with you guys here. As I said, it's a two-player game for two people that have never met each other before. So I would really like two of you that are in here to come and try this game. So any brave ones here to try? Come on guys, please. Yeah, come on. A round of applause for him, please. Who would come to play with me? Come on. Somebody else? Come here. Round of applause for her. Thank you very much, guys, for coming. Can I take a picture of you guys? Is it okay? Thank you. So, just a second, just let it. Okay, here it is. So, I've developed it in 10 days from like the initial idea to all design and all. I mean, I make even the music. It was insane. I was like 10 hours per day. So, I invite you guys to play it. So, just try. Alright, so you type your names in here, and then you tap here to add your picture. Now, I'm just going to ask you to play this orientation, because you have some struggles with the keyboard, you know, the other way. Can you guys see it? Is it okay? Okay. Okay. And then it's up here to add your pictures, like here. Yeah. And then there are 3 mini games, like quick and easy, for them to talk a little bit and develop a relation. So, just press the button whenever you're ready. I will explain, wait, just a second. I will explain it to you, because you could read it, but it would take more time, so I'll explain. So, this 30-second showdown mini game is like that. There will be a challenge here. I don't know what will it be, but whoever does it first, in 30 seconds, you tap the picture and the person gets a point. So whenever you're ready, you can tap start. So whoever does it first wins. Come on. Yeah. Come on.
I don't remember the last
Come on.
like when you're asleep dream, or like
Yeah.
Inhibition.
Oh, come on.
Inhibition. Ooh. Do you have one?
Okay, the ambition.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, I wanted to do like.
Oh, time is over. I'm sorry. It's a tie. All right, first mini game is done. Let's go to the second one. All right, this one is also really cool. It's made for you to talk a little bit with each other. So you can just tap start, and it will explain to you. Just a second, I'm almost over. Okay. You can tap start.
Okay.
So it's your turn.
Best device. It's you.
Yeah. So don't look that for a second. Just look at me.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So you choose one of these questions, and you have to spend like 30 seconds with no stop talking about it. If you do stop, like, it will count your time, and whoever spends more time talking wins. Like this point.
Okay.
Once again,
Alright, now you pass the question to him.
I should talk without us talking?
Yeah, just have a picture. Now, whenever you're ready to start, you tap start, and you have to spend like 30 seconds talking about it. Are you ready? It's kind of tricky, right?
Wait, it's me. Okay.
Alright.
Wait. I didn't press start yet.
Okay. Tell me when you're ready.
Do it.
You ready?
No.
This is a tricky question, and also takes a little bit of time.
No, it's just a tricky question in front of the audience.
Yeah, I know, but we could just make something.
Like one, okay, I can talk about it.
Yeah.
In front of the audience, okay, let's.
Okay, let's start.
What does it have to be the greatest challenge? It can be like the second grade.
Yeah, it can be the second grade.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll talk about the second grade challenge.
Okay, if it makes you comfortable.
So yeah, let it be. So I'm an entrepreneur and I have my apps and I have also B2B SaaS, and now my greatest challenge is just to grow it to the point where it will be able to, like, to get to reach a lot of customers, to cover all my goals that I placed myself, and finally to cross the income that I had when I used to work in a company as a developer position. Like the biggest challenge for every, I think, indie developer, the first few years, it's a little bit complicated.
Round of applause for him, please. Yeah, this is amazing. Now you can pick a question for her. You.
Okay.
No, it's your turn. You hide the device, set a picture, and I'll pick a question for her.
Okay, I get it.
Come on, what's your question? Now it's your turn. So, what's the weirdest quality you have? You ready?
There's so many to pick from.
You ready?
Yes.
Yeah, let's go.
I would say the weirdest quality that I have is that time doesn't apply to me in my head. And so I'm like late to everything and really bad at planning. My husband can vouch on that. They call it time blindness. I have that for sure.
Okay, so stop.
10 more seconds.
Alright, so actually I wasn't supposed to touch it, but it was a point for him because he spent more time talking. Round of applause, please, again. So, we're going to do the last one in just 30 seconds. Alright, laugh challenge. The objective of this one is just to make each other laugh. You tap the laughs first. And then that's it. Come on. Oh, what?
I don't know. I hit a button.
Oh, okay, it's okay. So you won. Congratulations. A round of applause for her. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm just a second. Okay, guys. So thank you very much. This was it. I hope you guys had some fun.
For some context, what happened was I was like, she asked me what I was going to be presenting about, and I just replied, I genuinely have no clue. And the reason is I genuinely have no clue what I'm about to present about. I made, just to be clear, I made all the slides at 5 a.m. and I'm still very jet lagged, so this could go like any direction. So this is going to be fun. So before I get started, I would like to thank all of the student presenters earlier. Actually, all of the presenters that shared. We would be offering iOS Conf SG tickets to every single one of the presenters who have shared. Unfortunately, it's a physical conference in Singapore, but if you are able to join us in Singapore, we will be offering you a free ticket. So you can reach out to us after the fact and then you can claim it. So, iOS Conf SG is happening in January next year. Well, it can't be this year. And it'll be really exciting. I believe it is 3 days or something with a workshop and everything. So it'll be an exciting time. So we would love for some of you to join us there. Okay, so on to the more boring part, my presentation. So Okay, so I'm one of the organizers here. So the blue lanyards are the organizers. I'm a student. Actually, not really accurate. I was a student developer. I graduated like 2 or 3 months ago, and I'm an Apple certified trainer like Poom. And I won the Swift Student Challenge back in 2020 and 2021. And you might recognize me on the Swift Student Challenge page as the second guy, like, yeah. So, yes, so, sorry, I'm really bad at like talking about myself. Yeah, okay, so why am I actually here? That's a really good question. And the only conclusion I came up with when I was preparing this deck was, Soup couldn't find another keynote speaker. So I guess I am now the keynote speaker. So I've made a couple of apps so far. So some of these I've spent more time on, some of these I've spent less time on. One of my more interesting ones is Bianco, where basically it's just this iPad app where you are able to use the Apple Pencil and iPad to just start drawing, and you can immediately get an embroidery, and you can just send that to the machine and get a physical embroidery. I would have brought the actual embroidery to show you, but look, I'm tired, okay? Yeah. So, how I actually got to this point of a whole bunch of random projects is kind of by building a bunch of projects, and it's not really just these projects. So over the years, that's really weird. Sorry, my animation build is slightly off, but it's also by just building a whole bunch of different projects. For me, I enjoy just trying things out. I enjoy just building random projects. So I have over 150 projects that are just not on the App Store. So these are just random stuff that sometimes I just push it to GitHub, sometimes I can't even be bothered to get it off of my Mac. So if this Mac ever dies, that will be a very sad day. But so I like to highlight some of them because they're quite interesting actually. So this is Mac lock. So have you ever been in that situation where your Mac is across the room, but you are, on the other end, you're lying down, and then your Mac is unlocked. And you're like, hey, I shouldn't be leaving my Mac unlocked. So what I did was, I was like, I'm too lazy to get up to do that. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna get across to the room, and I'm gonna build an app so that I can unlock my Mac from my watch. It was pretty fun. It uses Bluetooth to communicate with the Mac, and then after that, it literally presses the Control Command Q key, and then it just locks your Mac. And let's talk about other apps. What about this one? So I had this concept. So this was, just to be clear, before Apple Vision Pro came out. Okay? So I was like, wouldn't it be really cool if you could just pick up code blocks like this and like place it down like this? And I was like, this, because I really wanted to try out hand tracking, because I scrolled past an article and I was like, oh, this sounds cool. So I was like, we can do that. And I did that. So it's an actual thing where you can drop it. It's a bit scuffed where sometimes it doesn't back properly, but it was one afternoon I was willing to invest. And another one is over-engineered arrow keys. So this was, I was doing a talk and we were super far away from the actual, from the Mac, so the clickers wouldn't click that far. And I was like, there is no way you're getting me to memorize my script. There is no way. And so I was like, I'm just gonna build an app so I can scan a QR code and I can just control it from my phone. It actually works surprisingly well. So I decided to publish it on the App Store, and it was even part of an App Store story a while back. So that's surprisingly I think Poom was also in the story. Yeah. Yes. So the key idea behind all of these is a lot of these projects spawn out of just me just going like, I want to build something, and just trying out different ideas, because when I build these, I don't really think about feasibility. I don't think anything beyond the next 2 hours of my life. And it's all about kind of experimenting and having fun. In fact, all of you around your necks, you're wearing a result of that. All of these lanyards, I'm not free enough to type all of these, but I'm free enough to create a custom PDF generator that loops through all of the names and then generates PDFs just so that I can print it into the card printer. So, and literally the timer that's telling me that I have 11 minutes left, that's also another Swift UI app. So my entire philosophy behind everything I do is I'm just gonna do it for the sake of it, and I don't care about whether it makes sense. And that's been really fun for me because I've learned so much along the way. Like, you would never know how much pain PDFs are to deal with. Okay, so what's with my belt transitions? So I've learned over the years, it's kind of okay to fail because failure is kind of what you define it. In this case, I define failure as nothing, and I just have fun with everything I do. But it's kind of normal to just have projects that don't really succeed or don't really work that well. And I don't want to end it here because I'm in a room with a whole bunch of incredible people here, and all of you have done your own something good in your own right. All the apps that showcase, they're definitely better than my 2-hour-long PDF generator that generated all your badges. And this idea of just trying things out and experimenting doesn't just apply to building apps. So I want to give you some background. So I started coding I started Swift back in 2018 in this program called the Swift Accelerator Program. So it was started by the Apple Singapore team along with the Singapore government. So it's this 8-month talent development program where every single Saturday we learn Swift, and then at the end we showcase an app on the App Store. So it's really fun. I was in the first batch. And so what has happened over the years? So this was me back in 2019. Yeah, so that was, 2019 was, I can't do math now, 14 years old. So I graduated in 2018, so this was after the program finished. And in 2019, I just showed up. I just showed up as a helper every Saturday because, when you finish a program like that, what happens is you've booked out every single Saturday for the next year. And then the year after that, you're like, wait, I have nothing to do on Saturday, so I'll just come by and help out. Okay, and then 2020, I was like, hey, it's COVID, I'm stuck at home. I'll just help out. And I did the same in 2021, but I was like, hey, we could do some fun changes here. That's when we switched from UI kit to Swift UI. And then in 2022, I was like, yeah, let's do even more fun. Let's have even more fun, and I was the assistant again. In 2023, yeah, same deal, but I also did an internship at the Developer Academy, so I wasn't actually in Singapore most of the time. And in 2024, this year, I'm now leading the program, so that's been a lot of fun this year. Okay, so every time someone asks me why on earth I'm back, and why am I actually back? I always just respond, it's for the hot chocolate. We have this really long running joke where everything is all about hot chocolate because there was hot chocolate in the coffee machine, they removed it, and now we're very pissed at them. Okay, so every time someone has asked me why are you always returning back to Swift Accelerator and coming back every single Saturday? Because for a lot of the time I was working on this, there was no such thing as compensation. It's just, hey, pop up, whatever. Yeah. So, but over the years, I realized that actually the reason I am back wasn't really about the hot chocolate, but more about the people. So the people are really what makes Swift Accelerator really special. Starting with the folks from the very start, from whether it was from Apple or from the partners and everything, who just believed in this random kid who just showed up to all of the sessions for the following year after graduating and just decided, let's help this kid and teach him, to all of the students who just come back and all of the alumni. Because today we have over 100 alumni that just popped back after they've graduated. And even just this year, we have clocked, I think, about 40 alumni coming back. So that's been really incredible for us. But what I started to realize is, now that we have this, we also have a case where we have the same issue that we started with. Now that we have so many more people coming back, how do we make them feel like they're valued? And so I started to work quite a bit last year on this new alumni mentoring program, where the alumni actually, instead of just coming back, they are mentors. So they are attached with us for maybe 3 months or so, and they come back every single Saturday, and we compensate them for their work because they are doing real work. Even though I spent a solid 4 years just popping back debugging people's code for free, we want people to feel like, hey, you are doing real work here. You're actually impacting people. And this role is they are able to share their knowledge, and this was actually from a trip to the Apple Developer Academy in Batam. So we sent, I believe, 20 people over there. Tonga is one of them. Oh yeah, Tonga is also an alumni of the program. Yes. So my main message to all of you is, because you guys are not going to join the Swift Accelerator program. I think, unless any of you are ready to relocate to Singapore and in high school level. But my main message here is, do something. All of you have, you are in a very fortunate position here. You are here in WWDC. There are really incredible people in this room. Do something with it. Don't just let your WWDC journey end here. And try to tell your story. My story was about the Swift Accelerator program and trying to shape it to what it is today. But you might have something in your own community. You might have something, like Poom has with his Thai community. You can do that and you can leverage it. And there are so many incredible people in this room today that you can talk to. And just have fun. I wouldn't be doing this for 7 years if I wasn't having fun with all of this. And I would say, really just take the time and just have fun with the entire process. So that's really it. This is the 3 things I'm going to leave you with. So that's about it. I forgot what's next on the agenda, but I believe I'm passing it back to Don.
Thank you, Jasmine. So I have like a 45-minute to 2-hour presentation prepared, but after that, I now know, let's keep it at a tight 3 minutes. Does that sound good? So yeah, my name is Charlie Chapman. I got the second one checked off now. My name is Charlie Chapman. I'm a developer advocate at a company called Rewatch, hence the giant bash thing that we just talked about. And I'm also an indie iOS developer. I make an app called Dark Noise. It's a ambient noise app for people who like nice Apple-y apps. It's got deep shortcut support, animations. Oh yeah. Let's see, who else is in the crowd? I can get the woo. Lots of integrations with Siri integrations. Yeah, there we go. So I do that kind of as my side job thing. I also do a podcast where I interview other developers in the industry. I've interviewed Paul Hudson, maybe some other people that are in the crowd. Chris Tyler's over there, yeah. So I just interview other people and kind of, basically I just use them to learn about how they made the thing that they made that I usually am trying to make something similar. I look up to those people. I don't entirely know why I'm talking here, if I'm being completely honest with you. I was asked to kind of give some closing words, words of encouragement to the student challenge winners. I was like, oh, this will be cool. And then I sat down there and I watched all those incredible presentations. And I've given quite a few talks as part of my job. That's kind of what I do. But this is the most intimidated I think I've ever been in my life, because I do this indie iOS thing now, and it's surprisingly been successful. But I did not come from the same kind of background. When I was your all's age, I think the most programming I was doing was making little programs in TI Basic on my calculator to make my chemistry homework easier. That was the extent of what I was really doing. It wasn't until much later in my career that I kind of switched over to this iOS world and started doing this, side project and making stuff and being really passionate about what I do. But I think there's maybe a lesson that's helpful for you all in that story. So as quickly as I can, I'm going to try and tell that. So I spent most of my career in kind of enterprise development. I liked the job. It was stable, but it wasn't something I was super passionate about. But I had the opportunity to switch over to an iOS team. And it sounded really fun, and I was like, all right, let's do that. And joined the team and realized I should probably learn Swift and download this crazy IDE called Xcode. And so I did that, and immediately there was two things I had to do. One, well, I had to download Xcode, that was important. But one, I needed to like learn Swift and all this stuff. And the way I did that was just went on the internet and found as many people as I could that would teach me things. People like Paul Hudson, Sean Allen, John Sundell, people that were writing, making YouTube videos. And I learned so much, like they did so much work to kind of get me to the point where I could actually make something. And then the other thing I did was I started a side project, which all of you are more familiar with than probably even me, because that was amazing. And so I started working on this side project, and a couple interesting things happened. One is I would come into work in the morning, and I would maybe complain about some problem I had, and all my coworkers would be like, oh, yeah, this is the problem, and we'd like, over lunch, they'd be helping me out, and helping solve my problems, but also like really encouraging me, like, oh, this is cool, what you're doing is really, really interesting or helpful or whatever. And then the other thing I did was, I think because of Paul actually, I don't know if you still do this, but you encourage people, I know, you're getting so much attention, I'm sorry. It's part of my story. I didn't know you were gonna be here, and now I'm making it even more awkward by talking directly to you, so apologies. Anyway, point is, somebody was encouraging people whenever they were getting started to tweet or post or whatever we do now, talk about on the internet what you're doing. It's really like a way to just sort of encourage yourself to keep going. But the thing that was really insane that happened was random people in the community talked back. And it wasn't just that they were talking back, but they were helping me out with problems I was having, and more importantly, encouraging me, telling me like, wow, this is really cool. I still remember the day that this guy named Russ Shanahan, who makes an app called Happy Scale, and this is a real indie full-time developer. He just like DM'd me and said, man, what you're doing is really cool. I know you're having this problem with this, and this is, I've run into that, and here's something I did. And to him, it probably took 5 minutes of his time, but for me, it was like everything. Like it really encouraged me to keep going and take this like seriously. And he's just one example, because he was one of the first, but over the course of 6 months or so, so many people in the community who I really looked up to were doing this for me the whole time. And at the end of that 6 months, I released the app, and somehow people heard about it, it was successful, and I have this kind of business, and I'm part of this crazy community that I'm incredibly proud to be involved with. And still to this day, I can't really believe I'm involved with. And while I don't want to diminish the fact that I worked really hard, and obviously you all worked incredibly hard on these projects, but I also would not have gotten to that point if it wasn't for all these people around me that were encouraging me along the way, helping me along the way. And I bet you, if you guys look at your story, you know, in the last 6 months or years or whatever, you have people in your life that are doing something similar for you. And looking at these presentations, like you all are destined for awesome, awesome things, and you're going to do awesome things. But I hope as you're pursuing that ambition, sometimes it's tempting to just always look forward and reach, and you should, like that's not bad, but don't forget to stop and look to the side and look back at the people who are doing the same and bring them along with you. Because at a certain point, you're not going to be the young upshot who's super smart and ahead of the curve. You're gonna need help, and all that investment that you've done in friends and the community itself, that's going to come back to pay for you. I mean, that's why I'm here. The people that have helped me have gotten me to this point, and I feel like it's like really, really important to invest back in that community for the next group of people coming up, because they're going to help you out and they're going to make this community awesome in the future. So yeah, I guess I went a little over the tight 3 minutes, but we're keeping it relatively short. So thank you. I guess that was how I was supposed to end it. And then I didn't, because then I said these words. And if you don't take this mic from me, I'm going to keep talking. So thank you.
Wow. So hey, my name's Paul. You know I made a site, Apiphoom Swift, right? Some folks prefer my dogs. Better say, I've got very cute white dogs. Hopefully though, if you know anything about me, you'll know I love coding. I really do. Obsessed with it. I started my first steps of coding at age 14. I'm now 44. That's 3 decades of coding now. And when I go to Xcode and go to File, New, Project, I'm psyched. I'm psyched every single time. Never get bored of it. Today's dub day, right? Whole new set of frameworks, whole new set of APIs, weeks of videos coming out, and betas and stuff, and labs. Very exciting. Some folks call this the Christmas for iOS developers, right? People say to me, Paul, you've seen it all now? iOS 18. What are you most excited about? Swift UI. Swift data. Intelligence. It's one of those things. The thing I love most, every time, is coming here and seeing my friends. Some I've known for years. Some months. Some minutes. Folks have come here to learn something new and share the excitement. I love it. I'll never get bored of that feeling. And you can, if you want to, spend this whole week, next week, watching session videos, panicking, trying to keep up. I wouldn't recommend it. Tonight, these folks around you, they're here for one night only. And they're incredible people. I hope you use your time wisely. Make friends while you're here. Keep in touch with these people. Use your time wisely. If you want to take some advice from an old coder, 30 years now, 3 decades, it's this. I love the enthusiasm. I love your ability to build the next big thing. It's magical. I genuinely always will love that. But you are the ones who are the future of our community. You're the one deciding the tone that we have, how we welcome people into our community. What kind of community we want to be, that's what you get to decide. And we're relying on you to do a great job. We really are, because you're doing incredible work. Always be welcoming. Always be generous with your time. Always make space in your life to get alongside someone else and help them out. That's a community I hope you'll carry on building for years and years to come. So, before you leave tonight, get email addresses, Twitter handles, LinkedIn if you must. These moments are precious, folks. Never coming back.